Hello, it's Lisa Beard here. Thank you for joining me today for another video. Today's video is going to be the fold back card, which is a really simple but very effective card fold. And inspiration for this card comes from my upline and good friend Paula G, who posted this technique on her Facebook page recently. So thank you to Paula. Everything I'll be using today will be linked in the descriptions below. Before we get started, I just wanted to show you that this doesn't have to be a baby girl card or baby boy card. It can be anything I've made. Once I started making this fold back card, I couldn't stop because it's such a simple and easy and fun technique. So I've made a Christmas card, I've made birthday cards, and I'm planning to make more. So I just wanted to show you these two examples before we get started. To create this card, you will need a piece of pattern paper. I am using a piece from our lovely pack, which is such a pretty pack. This is a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of pattern paper. You will also need a 2 3/4 square of plain cardstock. I'm using White Daisy. And for our card base, I'm starting off with a 6 by 12 inch piece of Ballerina. Now the beautiful thing about our cardstock is that it's actually two tones. So on one side it's a darker shade and then on the other side it's a lighter shade. I'm going to take the piece of Ballerina cardstock and I'm going to cut that down from the 6 and 12 inch down to 5 1/2 and 8 1/2, which will form our card base. The leftover piece I'm going to put aside because we're going to actually use that later on. I'm going to score my cardstock at 4 1/4 and fold it to make the card base. I need to make a couple of measurements on my card using a pencil. I need to make a little mark 3 1/2 inches from the top right and 3 1/2 up from the bottom left. I'm actually using my Versamat to do this, so I'm just making a mark at the 8 1/2 and the 8 1/2 on the other edge, rather than use, but you can use a ruler. So I'm taking my card, and I don't know if you can see those pencil marks, but I'm then going to put them in my trimmer with my scoring blade on, and I'm going to line the pencils up each with the groove, the cut groove, and then I'm going to use my scorer to score between the two. And so then I will take the corner and fold it back, and that is the fold back, and pretty much that's the most complicated part of this card. I'm going to do the same again with making pencil marks on my 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of pattern paper. So I'm making a pencil mark 3 1/2 from the top right and 3 1/2 up from the bottom right, or 8 1/2 on your Versamat if you're using that. So then I'm placing the pencil marks again into the track of my cutter, but this time instead of scoring between the two pencil marks, I'm actually going to make a cut to leave you with this shape, which will tuck in beautifully just underneath the fold on your card front. Now I'm going to take the piece of cardstock, Ballerina cardstock that we put aside earlier, and I am going to cut a 3 inch square from that leftover piece. Now I'm taking my 2 3/4 square piece of White Daisy cardstock, and I'm going to use my favourite stamp set at the moment, Oh Hey There. This is in the current September to October catalogue, and I'll link it below. I have a need to make a baby card, so I thought the elephant would be really cute for this. I have flipped my Versamat over, so I've got the spongy side up, because this gives a little bit of, this gives a much better impression when you're using the clear stamps. Using Memento ink to ink up my elephant, just in case I decide to watercolour or maybe use alcohol markers to colour him. At this point, I really hadn't decided what I was doing. So I'm going to stamp him down. I've also taken a It's a Girl sentiment from a stamp set that's pretty old, so I'll have to look that up and link it below for you. So I've stamped my It's a Girl, and I'm looking at this elephant thinking, how am I going to colour him? Grey, I don't really want to put grey. So I decided to do some paper piecing. So this is where you take the image, stamp it a second time on a piece of pattern paper or cardstock, and then you cut it out and place it inside the image on your card, and it's coloured in canary gingham for you. I'll show you. Okay, so I'm going to fussy cut out my gingham elephant. Notice as I'm cutting, I'm actually moving the image, not my scissors. Might not be able to see it while it's sped up. I'm using my non-stick micro tip scissors to do this job, and they honestly make really light work of any fussy cutting. I place the cutout image, make sure I've cut inside the lines so it sits nicely inside the image that I've already stamped. And I think this is a great way to add colour to an image. Now it's time to stick everything down. So I'm taking my adhesive runner. First of all, I'm going to put some on, well, you can decide whichever side of this paper you like. I just thought it was the floral side was so pretty, and I've got the gingham elephant. So I'm placing that down, and I'm just making sure I leave a nice even margin around the pattern paper. So I'm sticking that just underneath where the fold goes. So that's fitting really pretty. You could either pin this down with a brad. I'm just going to use some more adhesive and flatten that fold down. So making sure I've got plenty on there because I don't want this popping up before it gets to the recipient. So that's sitting nicely, and then I'm taking my 3/4 inch square of Ballerina cardstock. I'm making sure that the darker side is sitting up, so it will be the lighter side on the inside of the card, and also you get a nice border, a contrasting border, a lighter tone border around the edge. So I'm only putting adhesive on half of that. You don't want to put adhesive all over the side, otherwise your card won't open. Okay, I'm going to speed up the process of putting the rest of this card together. I just wanted to make note that I did do a third stamp on some Ballerina cardstock, just the top of the elephant. So the little doily or little piece that sits on top is just a little bit of different colour. You'll also see during this process that I should not be left unsupervised with glue because I make a right old mess. But anyway, I am finishing off, putting the last finishing touches to the front of the card. I also then decided to just put a little insert in the card of white daisy cardstock, which leaves a nice border when you close the card, and it gives you a little area. You can also stamp inside the card. Don't have to do this, you can leave that out if you like. Anyway, we've now got a beautifully finished card, and that's going away to a special little baby girl. And I would like to say thank you for joining me today, and if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on my next videos. And also, if you like the video, let me know by hitting a like, and maybe leave me a comment and let me know if there's any sort of videos or techniques that you'd like to see in the future. Okay, thanks for stopping by. See you later. Bye.